Welcome to our new series, Turning Obstacles into Opportunities. My name is Tabitha Choquette, and today's episode focuses on how building skills around the growth mindset and stress management will help students and educators as we move forward from COVID-19. To help us learn more and give us useful tools and strategies, I'm joined today by our friend, Dr. Matt Davidson from the Excellence with Integrity Institute.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited about this interview.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and get started then. The first question that we have is, over the last year, students and educators have been navigating an ever-changing world and school environment. This unknown and the constant flux has likely increased stress, but we often don't notice our own stress until we're at a tipping point. How do we become more aware of our own stress?
Yeah, wow, what a great question. It has been a tough and difficult and an unusual year, and I think the conversations about stress are pretty common. The Greeks originally told us that we should know thyself. And in social and emotional learning, advocates often talk about the importance of self-awareness. In our work, we talk about self-study. We have to study ourselves, know ourselves, become aware of who we are and what's going on inside of ourselves. And that's one of not only the important pieces of diagnosis, but also stress management. So first we have to know ourselves. What makes me stressed? How do I know I'm stressed? Do my hands get sweaty? Do I get nervous? Is my stomach feeling upset? Am I breathing really short breaths? Or am I manifesting other kinds of signs? So as we study ourselves, we start to know those things. A second kind of insight is to follow your emotions. All right, so first we know ourselves and then we follow our emotions. When we feel something happening inside of ourselves, it might be anger, it might be frustration, it might be resentment. Simply naming that, anger, fear, by naming it, following it, and even asking ourselves some questions of it. Why is it that I'm afraid? What am I feeling? What's causing this? Oh, wait a minute, I'm hungry, right? So curiosity prevents us from being afraid. So know thyself, follow your emotions. Here's three really simple hacks, so to speak, or methods for self-knowledge and awareness that we often use. It's called what's your word, what's your number, what's your story. As an educator, as a parent, as a coach, even in my own self-work, if I ask people, what's your word? Hey, it's in the afternoon, I'm feeling tired. I'm overwhelmed, I'm frustrated. By literally coming up with the word that best captures the state of my mind and my spirit, it tells me something about myself. Now, if I do a bunch of those and see a bunch of words over the course of the week, I realize there are times when I'm joyful, times when I'm happy, times when I'm frustrated. And it makes us one, more aware, but also a little bit more comfortable with the patterns that we see. What's your number? On a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to start this classroom today. What's your number? I'm a 1. Why? I'm feeling a little stressed, a little worried, a little overwhelmed. I'm a 5. She's a 7. He's a 10. When we put out our number, we can get an idea of what's going on for ourselves, but we also realize, hey, we're on a team, we're in a group, we're in a family where we got a range of people feeling different things. And then finally, what's the story? What's the story that you're telling yourself? And that's a little bit longer answer, but it's one of those things where I'm overwhelmed. I'm not good enough. I realized that I used to send a lot of emails where the first line was, sorry for being behind. I'm a little overwhelmed. As I told myself that story again and again and again, it became reinforced. So we know ourselves, we follow our emotions. What's your word? What's your number? What's your story? Are some real simple ways to make sure that you can make that a regular process.
Yeah, I love that. So being aware of stress is the first step in dealing with it. How can we move beyond awareness and begin managing our stress?
Yeah, now one thing about the awareness with stress is the process is the intervention. So one thing to not underestimate is that literally by following our emotions, reflecting on those, my word and my number, we start to see patterns. Even better is when we can share that with other people. We're not strong alone, right? So me taking notes and saying, I'm worried, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, that's noting a pattern. But if I get to a level of safety and trust where I can say to other people, hey, what's your word? What's your number? I'm a 1. Oh man, how come? By explaining to others what's going on inside of ourselves, there's a kind of a process there. We start to offload it. There's a saying that says, in times of desolation, avoid isolation. And what we often do is we stay inside of ourselves. So one way we can begin managing that is by literally sharing it with others, being in a safe culture where the collective habit is, whether it's at family dinner, we're going to share these things. So the habit starts us in the process of getting outside of ourselves. And then, really the best defense is a good offense. We know diet and nutrition, exercise, sleep. Those are things that really help us to manage stress that are underrated. We often don't realize how much neglect we've done on those other things until it's really raging inside of ourselves. Those breathing strategies and observation. I start to realize that I'm feeling stressed, feeling upset, literally breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. 5 simple breaths that just quiet ourselves is part of what really can begin to help us. So a few of those strategies to get outside of ourselves, to make sure that we're doing good maintenance along the way. And then when we actually see it happening, in through the nose, out through the mouth, really trying to calm ourselves.
Those are some great strategies. So the way we see the world and its obstacles can make all the difference in outcome. How can a growth mindset help educators and students during this challenging time?
Yeah, I can't say enough about the importance of a growth mindset and its connection to stress. Okay, one way to look at the growth mindset is, we might frame it this way. It's the difference between being stressed and stretched. A growth mindset is how we respond to 4 big things. It's effort, it's challenges, it's feedback, and mistakes. So anytime we need more effort, anytime we have a challenge, something that really pushes us, anytime we get feedback or experience failure, we can either experience stress, the sense that I'm being attacked, the sense that I'm under pressure, that it's bad. That's stress. Stretched is that growth mindset says, wait a minute, we are not fixed in our capacity to grow. We can get qualitatively better, bigger. And these moments when we get feedback, effort, challenges, or make a mistake, they give us a space to be stretched, for our muscles literally to grow. So one way to begin having that growth mindset is realizing the difference between something that is fixed, cannot grow, only so much, if you stretch it, it'll blow, versus a growth mindset says, look, with good, steady pressure, we stretch and grow our capacity to handle more. When we grow our capacity to handle more, that's when our stress comes down and we actually have that feeling like, wow, I'm really improving.
That's really great insight on that growth mindset. So we talked a lot about stress and thinking about educators and having their own tools and strategies to manage their stress, but educators must also help their students manage their stress as well. So are there tools and strategies to help educators support students who are learning to manage their own stress?
The conversations that we're having about stress in the public domain is really important, because it used to be the kind of thing that, we saw, is there something wrong with us if I'm nervous, if I'm feeling stressed? Now it's something that people are really looking and saying, hey, this is a very, very common experience. How do we turn that into an asset? I'm really, really excited about the Essentials curricular resources that we've developed and deliver in partnership with Character Counts. We've been working on these for about 20 years to get research-based, practical, practitioner-friendly strategies. The materials that you can get online feature the kind of tools and strategies that teachers can adapt or adopt for use in a variety of settings and classrooms in a variety of ways. And the Essentials just aren't about stress management. There are modules in there about the growth mindset. And we have to remember that there's a lot of things that contribute to how we handle stress, Stress can be caused by time management. One of the modules that is really popular is on time management. How do we make sure that we use our time well? It can be about attitude and effort, the way we think about the challenges that we're in. So in those curricular resources, yes, there's a quote, a lesson or a script or a way of doing it. But more importantly, there's tools that help you to define good stress from distress, how to give and receive constructive criticism. And those tools are a more efficient and consistent way for teachers and students to have dialogue about what's going on and to begin really putting those strategies into practice.
Yeah, being able to practice those are so important. How about growth mindset? Is there a way educators can help foster a growth mindset in their students?
Knowledge about a topic is important, but the experience of it is how growth happens. How we respond to 4 things: effort, mistakes, feedback, challenges. You literally put that on the board: effort, mistakes, feedback, challenges. This is what happens all day in school, but when those things trigger a response in me, I can either fold in and say, I can't do it, I am what I am, I can't grow, or I can be open to it. I can see it as a natural part of the process. So those tools where we can really put it into practice: dialogue, reflect, get feedback, practice it, try. It's just like any other skill. And that's what we're really trying to do, is give them those tools so that you can actually practice those materials.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I always appreciate having a conversation with you and your insight into this. So thank you again, Dr. Matt Davidson.
You bet. Thank you.
During our conversation, Matt mentioned our essentials resources. They're among a variety of curated resources we have focused on specific topics that youth and families will be addressing as we move forward from COVID-19. To learn more about how we can help you, please visit us at charactercounts.org.